worthy of a final test. Remove as many of the bells as you can. One sound and you fail. Go.
Now the way I be rockin', don't think you got ready. I hog the beat like bebop, bring it hard. Rock steady, underneath the sewers in a New York City. Form a street team with the Blue Committee. Ain't blue, but they green and mean. Ninjas and turtles and pizza machines. Leonardo Warrior honor, there ain't no cheap shots. Keep looking, this dude, he got no weak spots. Shortstop, play it all, leaving the catcher. 1 through third base, he a boss, Dylan Hatcher. Dylan my homie, and they'll keep you on guard. I'll spit some shards like Splinter while I'm splitting these nerdy bars. When I get in story mode, you know I'm kinda mellow. But I keep it nerdcore, cause I'm a genius, Donatello. You listen to One Up, and you said he's just a stupid lame. Didn't understand, cause you're a crane, just a stupid brain. The world ain't what it seems. You ain't never seen the world's most fearsome fighting scene. When you're a little bit older, you realize the meaning of being useless as a foot soldier. Yo, my lines are heavy sauce, pizza rhyme, and you know what it is, trip pizza time. You realize eventually come around, that's redundant. Just go and yell the victory cry, cowabunga.
Oh, you want that old chorus? Guess what? Feelings don't care what you want. Sergeant so fly, they called him Go Bloom. Rat King so mousy, they should get a room. Just listen to Wing Nut, you gotta screw loose. Aliens are the norm in the spatula turtle soup. You got DMX for that older Gen X. Eastman suit, the Bay Blair art could've stayed. Bebop and rock ain't sure which shell to crack. Just pick the one that makes sense, Leo, lead the pack.
Now, yo, cracking so many jokes, I call him funny, but did so much good, I call him J.R. Honeycutt. Ralphie always wanna fight, and Michelangelo, he plays so much, I call that dude DFW Nerd Night. And the good news, well, I have April reported. I destroy these food, they grunts, I hope you guys recorded. I'm behind a mask of dreams, you can't face me, they can tell I don't really give a hockey butt, Casey. In the first verse, I hit you with the pizza rhyme, slip into the past, slippery sloping like I'm spitting slime. Ninja Turtles in time, I'm gonna shell shock this line so hard that it'll silence in my crescendo, megaphone, fine tunes, yellow bone, sewer surfing myself right up to the technodrome. Started from the sewers, now the whole team stepping here, shredded, destroyed, never reappear. The world ain't what it seems, you ain't never seen the world's most fearsome fighting scene. When you're a little bit older, you realize the meaning of being useless as a foot soldier. Yo, my lines are heavy sauce, pizza rhyme, and you know what it is, trip pizza time. You realize eventually come around, that's rotunda. Just go and yell the victory cry, cowabunga.
Cowabunga with the cowboy breaker, got my dual shredder looking like an MF Vega. But don't hate, cause I'm sagging on that ass. Bow raw move set for the turtle killer smash. Up, down, down, left, right, Konami code 7 lines into the dark turtle night. You got your Tecmadrome stories, nothing as nice as that red-headed shorty. Angel suited with a connection to the boys. They got some toys, show van, show racer. They riding in the criminal flavor. They think they got it bad, they got Triceratops. Busy destroying worlds, teleports in New York City. Brain flying in, he wants to steal the show. Got Irma scared Splinter doing rat time kung fu. Multicolor foots holding up the track. The populace freaking out, kid drag breaking habits.
Don't need ooze to give him a bruise when the science artists are ass kicking. Don't get included.
Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. Yeah, not quite over yet. Okay, so last time, well, yesterday, we redid this with Elm-UI just because they've been hearing about it, sort of an interesting idea. Still, the bot showed up early this time. It's definitely different because you don't really have, well, any default styles or much in the way of global styling. Which means if you decide to change something, you might end up having to change it in lots of places. I don't know if they've really got... I guess the only abstraction mechanism for that would be to append lists for the attributes. And then sort of use that function in several places. Anyway, I think there could still be some work on fonts and weight and decoration. But it's not actually scrolling it. So for that, I need to see. I know they redid. I haven't done a lot of anim. Yeah, that's right. The Elm stuff assumes certain color defaults. Are the events still in time? Every human time. Is not for animation. That's browser. I mean, I guess if we're doing animation, we should be doing it that fast. Get the POSIX time. The message in the time is millisecond since previous frame. So that kind of gets into, we want to do an absolute base. And then just multiply a time difference. Or do we want to step it every little bit? I think we're still going to want... I think the way Elm-UI works, we're still going to have some concept of absolute position. And that was just element, right? Rows and columns, text layout, which is probably part of where this becomes more useful. Size. Adjustment. I'll lay out a plate. It's fixed to the viewport. Responsiveness we might see. All right, yeah. So, what was it? What'd they call it? Adjustment. So this is a float. I'm assuming this is going to be pixels. So in order to even get off the viewport, we have to know how big the viewport is. Responsiveness. Device class orientation. Still need to retrieve the initial window size, which is browser, events.on resize, a task window resize. I know I've actually done some of that before. And I know one of the things I had to do is that the two messages are in like different formats. So I think that schedule from videos is going to do some of that. Browser. So we have a window size, which comes from, that's a command, get viewport. Yeah, for window size, that's fine. And then that is messing the message, and browser events that on window size is mapping a WH to the pair so that is consistent. I guess that sort of goes with some of this stuff. Yep. Window size, we need to init. Which we do have to batch now. I guess we can leave that there. Let's check the code. Oh, we're going to need model stuff to record that. Which is kind of in the environment thing again. And then we init. I don't know what reasonable defaults are. Probably not 0, 0. Can we get... Nope. Oh, available with available height, the width height. No, yeah, that's screen, not... Well, it's not window, it's not document. Oh, they're not doing that anymore, huh? How about... Yeah, this automatically puts it into that mode. But like even with half my screen, that's way more than 480. Well, if it's 1,000, that's... gonna be 500 and... So default width... So get that. Right, we got down to the update. It's like, oh, we have to have some place to put that. And then you had one more. I don't even know if I've had any subscriptions. Yeah, we haven't had any subscriptions at all on this. And we are, you know, at this point we might as well just put the batch in here. Because we know we're going to want to get to an animation frame. Oh, we have an imported task. dom.getImport. Browser.dom as dom. Browser.events. Okay. Now that's just in the model right now. So that gives us a window width and a window height. And we basically want to scroll, if we have data, well, let's move down a little bit just to test this first. It's mouse. Okay, I went down here to get that, and they told us we needed that. So we're not actually doing responsiveness yet. So say we do move down. This is a float. So screen widths are going to be integers in general. But it might be that everything we're doing with this is a float. Do we have any kind of to float? Okay. Move down, window width. And that is probably also going to need to be parenthesized. Can I cut it in half for now just so we can actually still see something on screen? Oh. Model.window width. And we don't actually need this. Okay, so that does seem to do what we think it does. So that should take it completely off screen. Now we want to get our animation frame and pull it up, and at some point we'll probably want to detect when we get all the way up for some definition of all the way. Ooh, actually, yeah, that's where we're going to have some way to measure the total size of this to know when it's done. Well, we kind of need to know when it starts and when it's done, so I guess we're going to need the height of it at some point. Alright, so they were saying browser.events on animation frame. And so I guess this kind of comes down to pause behavior. If we get some interruption or we stop animating for a bit, do we want... Well, I guess the delta might still cover the time. Probably more of a pause, although I guess that could still be the elapsed amount. Either way, I still have to keep my own progress. And we're going to handle that with something like... frame step, it's giving me a float. Our model is going to need some sort of time is in milliseconds. So for my purposes, probably time elapsed in an individual scroll should be fine. And one advantage of using deltas is you don't have to deal with the POSIX to millisecond conversions. So window size... Oh, was it not time? Frame step. Delta. Model... it was time elapsed. Model.time elapsed. And then to use that, we would have to go... this is starting to get big enough to break out. All right, move down, window width. And since we're doing move down, we would want to subtract whatever our animation rate is. So time elapsed. That's going to be in milliseconds. I want to do a times here because I kind of want to do something like... We want to be thinking in... more in pixels. 10 pixels per second. This is in view. Did we lost a parenthesis somewhere. Okay. Stream credits. So we did model. No, okay. So what are you complaining about? Argument to application is not what I expect. We expect a argument of... We misspelled time elapsed somewhere. Elapsed. I wonder how it got that it needs to be both. I guess maybe because of what it's passed. Elapsed. Okay. Oh. Oh, we need... It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay, so that was actually... Okay, so we actually do need to know how big this thing is, because that's... No, because that's the top of it. But yeah, we need to set one of our containers to clip. Because we don't want it to actually become a bigger document. It's interesting that this stuff stayed at the bottom, which is why I wasn't thinking about that earlier. So it looks like I want this to be a little bit faster. We also want browser events, element, clip the contents if it overflows. Let's see, so is this our column? Well, our column is being moved down. So that would have to be this. Okay, no scroll bar. But this also means I can't look down and see how close it is, because it seems like I may have to unclip this for a little bit to see just how far down we're going. I could probably still be a little bit faster. Yeah, that's a ways down there. Why is it going that far down? And that may still be a little slow. Maybe I didn't reload that time. Jeez, I can't even scroll. That may be a little on the fast side. I'm not sure I reloaded last time. Did that one get reloaded in time? All right, now, why are we going down so far? Oh, it is. It's a screen width, but it's being placed at the bottom of the content area. Because the weird thing is, we did this to half before, right? Well, given that it was here, that doesn't seem... doesn't seem reasonable. Oh, you're right. And we happen to be a little bit wider right now. You don't see the simple things. Well, eventually I would have looked at numbers and figured out, okay, so that's actually... I would actually want to push that back down a little bit. Shows up pretty quick. That's moving at 60 per second. Maybe give it about 1 second before it comes up. And then I have to figure out how big this thing is. Which means I'm probably going to want to turn that off so I can inspect it. So the variable part here is 216. Now I was, the spacing 20, font size scaled, ooh. The only problem with scaled is now I don't know what the actual size, well, I guess I can use the size in the math. But the size ended up being, or the font size rather, font size inherit Is this not the right element? Oh no, wait, that's that one. Model.host display host. Oh no, that's not giving us our default size. Well, I think scaled 1 is actually the value I put in, but it's a way up here. All right, computed. Okay, so font size is 20. An individual, so that line is 20. I'm a space was just a value. Also 20, apparently. And we have so that would be 40 total per line, 5.4. Well, That's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 27. Oh, no, wait. This is the thing around it. That's the heading in that. This is spacing 8. So 2027. I guess it's collapsing one space for every set somewhere. Or the font size is showing up. Do we have any information? Okay, it's not doing... Well, yeah, that's saying 20 and that's saying 8. But that is not the size of... Oh. We don't get spacing on the last one. And there were 8 items, so that's about 1 per. Okay. So the size of this entire thing so it starts out there at 0. So when we have to, and this actually kind of has to happen in the main state, which means I don't even have my scaled, which means we have to actually expose that so we can use it. View.scaled is fine. How about actually the view just tells us how big that is? Credit size returns. We do need the model. We might only need the host list. So those are, what is rounding to int? Okay. Credit size is equal to, let's see, our core bit is list dot length hosts times scaled 1 plus list dot length hosts minus 1 times currently 8 plus I guess I could have some sort of like style parameters. I could have all the numbers in that way. Yeah, well, let's work it out once. 39. So this is actually like a scaled 4 or something, I think. Plus scaled 4. And I think it's like... Okay, that's that stuff. Yeah, scaled 4, spacing 20. And then I want to see how that goes against 275. Display footer. Text. How did toString go now? Is that a string method? No, there's not a number. From int string dot. Okay, backwards. Text. String dot from int. Credit size. I mean, I guess I only need host's length here. But do I want to be doing that every time I call you? Oh. $275. Okay, perfect. So that's exposed from there. Stream credits. So we want to say every time we get a frame step, well, we need the elapsed. Of course, these are such small amounts, it won't really matter much if it's updated or not. If model.time elapsed, oh, I need to know my movement rate, which is currently defined in the view. So really, all we care about here is, are we so we've got credit size, which is still a thing we need. Credits off, it's going to need the inputs that needed. Oh, you're going to need the entire model, which means I'm not currently dealing with that. Because you need the time elapsed. Okay, so we need to know if model.time elapsed let's see. And we also need the window height. If model.window height we have to roll all of that back and all of the credits. Credit size model.hosts. And if time elapsed is by the movement speed, is greater than the total. I hit caps lock, didn't I? And got unrecoverably into something. Okay. Am I still got something on? It's sort of one-lineable. Oh, right, you were afloat. And window height and credit size were both ints. Oh, I started doing the condition there and then realized that I couldn't do that if view dot credits off, then time elapsed equals 0. I mean, we could put delta in there, but do you need like an end? No, it should be expression. Nah. I mean, to be perfectly correct, you'd pass it the updated model, but... Oh. And I guess it's a question of do you want it to loop or not. Or just be done. Oh, that's probably going to want a buffer second too. Oh, in fact, I'm adding that. Yep, adding that to it. Probably want a buffer on the other side. Credit size. So there's spacing, and then there's 2 buffer edges. All right, so that works, but we've got a lot of magic numbers running around. I guess these are kind of details. So we have scroll speed. I've forgotten. I mean, clearly, well, it's multiplying by a float here, so I can figure that out. Let's be clear about that one. So we have credit font size, heading font size, credit spacing, we have heading gap, We have leading gap and I'm using gap twice for two different things here. Now, arguably, some of these spacings should perhaps be scaled as well. Although I'd have to figure out exactly what we would do. So actually, I think we were doing 20 pixel size, so this would actually be scaled 1. But this is some fancy pants math. So I guess we just try to do... So I'm thinking it's about... Let's see, 4 went up to, from 20, it's almost to doubling. This is less than half. Okay, so this was number of hosts times credit font size times credit spacing. I guess I could do one length by doing font size plus spacing and then just plus an extra font size. It's a little bit truer to what we're doing, I think. Heading font size, heading spacing, leading gap and trailing gap. And then you use scroll speed. Okay. That's all good. Well, I guess I don't know how my... Well, that's only for the size calculation, not for actual drawing stuff yet. I guess we could still call that a heading font size. Region.heading 1, region.heading 2, not doing font sizes there yet. Spacing, heading, spacing, leading gap. And this is actually getting into a little bit of a... Model.time elapsed, scroll speed. Heading 1, font size. Heading font size. Spacing. Wait, where did I set? Oh, did I? Yeah, the general font size of this thing is actually credit font size, I think. And then your heading font size and credit spacing. That worked out kind of okay. So if I want to make this responsively sized, all of those parameters need to be able to take some input, though. Scroll credits. Currently looping. Yeah, I don't think there's any way this could signal OBS that it was done for any kind of automated transition. The only way around that would be to actually normalize the transit time versus the scrolling speed, so that it goes slower for fewer and faster for more. So the only problem here is we're gonna put this into an art. Well, OBS does let you set the internal window size, so you can sort of work around it. But essentially, we're going to have some sort of scale factor, conceivably based on all aspects of the window size. Well, I mean, I guess that can only do so much. That could probably get bigger. And certainly if you had a much... Well, I guess you won't get much bigger than that in a typical scenario. Okay, so the animation frames aren't so good in the OBS windows. So it's treating it as some sort of background process. Also, I would typically be setting the browser window to actually full screen, or at least full screen ratio. Which for me, what was it? No, it's... I think? Well, that is 30 FPS instead of 60 FPS. And I I did interact with this before. Reset transform. Okay. So yeah, that's feeling a little bit small. Also, no. This does not itself do... I don't think this override... Transparent... Nope, okay, I was just reloading. Nope, I'm sufficiently overriding things that does not show up. In fact, we're setting that twice. So that's CSS, that's probably fine. So it's probably... Well, that's a hard one to remove, isn't it? Okay. So transparent probably won't do anything there. Nope, it doesn't do anything here either, apparently. Oh, well, that's also mistyped. Just wondering if I could have it up kind of while working. And that is not doing it. Well, I'm not actually setting transparent either, but... Wait, that's still colored from something. Do I actually have something in the index left over? No. Where are you getting this from? Wait. I must have reloaded too soon. Okay. Well, it doesn't look great. Oddly enough, it runs smoother, though. So is it actually having to repaint more when it's not transparent? Or maybe when it's full screen, it can just optimize a bit better. And normally it will be kind of a full screen thing. Okay. Now, can we actually do a little bit of work on this in... No, okay. Oh. Okay. Great responsive design, guys. No, that's custom. Yep, there's the done button. The responsive design editor is not responsive. This is not. Yeah, I was hoping that it would scale this to the view. It is not scaling this to the view. Okay. Oh, and we've got this thing on still. Okay, so actually, no, I put this back to transparent. We should be able to reload? No. Well, that was useless. Maybe you haven't reloaded. Yeah, okay. Properties, refresh cache. So now I can have that up. And see how that looks. All right. We can still do a little bit with this. Maybe turn you off for a bit. As far as trying to keep things, this is just going to be kind of a pain in the butt because I've been trying to abstract things, which makes me wonder if I shouldn't have like one metric set that we pass things to and then pass the metrics around, rather than having to make every single one of these methods. Well, we're probably going to be basing this on some factor. I mean, I'm probably not as concerned about width. So we could just kind of do height. Oh, scroll speed is in pixels. So I kind of do want to normalize for, well, transit time or item time. In any case, we need to respect the window height on that. So this is only getting that. Credits off takes the entire model. Model has the window height. credit size. And once you're taking two things, you almost might as well take the model. Well, then we can't say what we're returning. And then all of these things, so scroll speed is an int to float, unfortunately. Most of these are ints, though, I think. Okay, so this looked about right for 500 to 700 pixels. And we would want to go faster on a larger screen. Yep, detected error. Oh, right, because we were not passing. Now it takes the entire model. And scroll speed takes. We got one more of these. Oh boy, we got mismatched parentheses somewhere. No. These bugs are just really annoying to find, and Elm does not help with them. Because it's showing up, I guess, in parentheses. Yeah, so this is just kind of where it gives up and goes, I don't know anymore. So this would be a different error. Floating point division. But it's not telling me where you don't like that. Yeah, it seems like the new parser has not been good for error attribution. Well, yeah, actually that is just not the ones I wanted. Height is an int. Floating point division. What we do, if that's an int, doesn't really matter. Doesn't tell us what the integer version is. We're making a float anyway, so. Just more parentheses. Okay. And we're still in transparent mode. Wait, what? Why? Or did I just take out... Oh, I took out my clip sometime. So we are scrolling you, which means your container has to be... And just didn't notice. That may have actually been part of the performance issue on the overlay. Having the document changing size all the time. Oh, well, now it's herky-jerky again. Oh, no, actually we thought it may have been doing that on top of the actual screen. Of course, actually it's probably herky-jerky for the stream anyway, because I have to run at low frame rate to get decent So I don't know. No, I don't think that the preview, my preview is frame rate limited. I could probably, stream preview. It's kind of small, but it doesn't seem too terrible. And it does seem to have normalized a little bit. Okay. So we forgot our clip. We got our scroll speed adjusted. So ultimately, this comes down to you being based on screen size. And this was 20 out of that 500 to 700 range. We don't have a style sheet. What the? Yeah, we don't. You're giving me an error because there is no style sheet? It's inline styles. It's fine. Oh, right, wait, a calculator. So let's call something in between. Scaled, we're going to round, so it's ultimately producing ints. So I do need to know basics. Integer division. Oh, no, you're right. You're float and we're rounding, which means we have to do 2 float this just so we can round it. And then all of our calls to this function, so actually leading gap and trailing gap, these were kind of set up to be one second of time, which means it depends on scroll speed. All right, and then all of these spacing calls, font size depends on the model.window height. Credit spacing depends on model.window height. Model. Depends on model.window height. The gaps currently do not. So we should have one of those. Thank you for the coloration. Leading gap, heading spacing, model.window height, font.size, model.window height, credit spacing, and these are the times when functional programming becomes a little bit painful. Just gotta pass everything everywhere. We missed another scaled somewhere. Oh, display footer. I mean, that's probably fine. But scaled expects something. $82, and this feels like a messed up brackets error. Or a messed up function error. Okay, so that... I might want a minimum on you. So that will allow it to affect the total time there. So that's kind of okay there. Wow, it's like right at that edge where it's just confused. So for the font sizes, and these are still arbitrary values. Float height divided by 30. Maybe we want to say like minimum 20 or somewhere around there. Yeah, that's very tiny. Oh, right, that's still my window. Smaller of two things. That might... No, we still have to... More parentheses! And maybe go a little bit smaller than 20? Try and feel out where it's too small. No, I want max. And that actually does feel a little bit too small. So that's our floor. So if we put in a smaller window, it'll just a little bit. Ooh. That means the bottom credits... Oh, we've moved those, so this position still depends on that. So actually, we need better against the bottom positioning as well. All right, so we think... actually, do we have this one... Yeah, let's do that as shutdown when not visible. Okay. So we've made font sizes scalable. Transparent, however, was a debugging thing. So I could see it at that size. forgot our clip. Responsive font sizes. Okay, now what we want to do is figure out how do we actually glue something to the bottom? Or do I have to fall back on regular CSS stuff for that? Right. It might also be depending on which container we clip. So maybe you need to be out. No, you're still positioned relative to that. Oh, there's the in front of behind stuff. Oh no, this is a browser. Ah, blah, 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 blah. In front. All right, so this is relative position between the background and content. Put this element below, but don't affect layout. Arguably placing the credits outside of regular flow would just kind of remove that as a concern. But we kind of almost need a separate layer for this. So that's there. I guess the concern here is that align bottom. Does that even make sense if we're doing this front behind stuff? Display footer. Okay, that much works. And it works up to the point that the browser won't let us make it any smaller. Okay. A little change. Prevent links from disappearing. Well, footer. That's a better name. Disappearing in small windows from getting pushed off bottom in small windows. All right, so that is some basic. Well, I've not looked at any of this UI in a while, which could use a little bit of work. We could do a little bit of font sizing there. So this was originally, yeah, I did originally kind of center this as well in the other application. All right, so you were doing width fill, spacing. Yeah, I mean, we probably actually kind of want... well, okay, we want some of this. Heading 1, font size. What do we mess up? Column, column. Okay, we got an extra comma somewhere. Okay. Can we do that? That feels farther down than I expected, but maybe some spacing will help here. Heading spacing. I might actually want bigger spacing here. Which means that this is actually scaled. Really? Well, that's frustrating. Okay. Okay. Which is weird, because it worked fine down here. Maybe because display name entry box isn't HTML. What if this was just an element with one child? Okay. It can only go to true elements, not to HTML imports. So now we can see if this looks good again. That looks okay. So all of this stuff, yeah, you can't do the global default centering anymore. You just have to do center X on everything. So you get to be center X. And you... Would it actually work to put a container around this? Because we're only going to have essentially one line in all cases. This could even be an L, because it's always going to be one thing. What did I misunderstand here? Do you need this junk? Okay, so that's centered. Made that a little bit bigger. Now, for this other bit, we're basically going to have to fake this out somehow. Model.login. Model.user ID. We're going to set the user ID. So maybe after setting it and then reloading, we'll be able to get that. Okay, that's centered. Looks like kind of okay. Well, for this app, no, this was originally for the idle screen. For this app, this really is just thanks for watching. And maybe I'll eventually have some other stuff in here. All right. So that's our initial setup case. Formatting of setup page, pretty much. So we've got a basically functional thing. It's probably a good time for me to get up and stretch a little bit, make sure I got good water and stuff. And then I think I will research. I could also do maybe a little bit of like reviewing font stuff. See if there's like a font that's typically used in credit rolls. Then I'll research it. Well, I think I already looked a little bit, and Mux doesn't have an API. But we can poke around a bit more. Maybe see if there is another system that would make that easier. One option is that we run a server to serve up files from the text file outputter that OBS uses. But that's just another thing I have to remember to start up every time, which is why I kind of don't like that option. And it means you have to run it locally, so I can't just serve it as a web page. So, yeah, it gets a little hairy. Anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes. So it doesn't really say like node starting up anywhere, but oh no, wait. Well, Node Supervisor is a separate project that I'm using that auto restarts when things crash and stuff, which is occasionally annoying because they sometimes get things that crash every time. Dip-a-doo. So
14 strength. That's pretty sweet. But is that what they started with? Because that doesn't get boosted up, right? As far as I know. Okay, so we need to do some more debugging. So the issue is when it comes out here, it wants to go in either direction. So when it comes out, I think we need to make sure... But why would it ever try and go backwards? There's an exit over.
Many viewers, may as well just start the game. So, as you probably know, oxygen not included has created
7-2-0.
Punto.
¡Hay alguien en el punto!
Sí, una fara.
Ah, que tiene la skin de... Ah, qué fuerte. Yo quiero esa.
¿Cuál? ¿De qué?
La que no tiene, la de Symmetra. La de... Esa es Symmetra Warframe, totalmente. Es Symmetra Lotus.
Sí, sí me trago así, vale.
Espérate, te voy a enseñar.
Vale, como tienen... Claro, tienen una fara para mis cosas.
It's too unlikely. So we're using our Gurya. It gives us increased strength. Oh, frick you, game! I hate you so much! Oh well.
Alright, this is not very flat. There we go, this is better. No, stop. Okay.
Alright, I see you. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Alright, go. I heard the pop.
What's happening? Is it working?
Alright, I'm landing at the place you were. Welcome back. Alright, so I did want to see if there is like a standard font for movie credits. That's just like... Oh, no, not those credits. Okay. Free fonts. I mean, I just kind of want names. End credits of the movie. Well... Cora's the one that hides the answers, isn't it? Aldous. Man, I don't know. Related tags? 16th century, casual. Yeah, it doesn't tell me a whole lot. Like, doesn't give me a sort of standard, typically available font that's similar. Oh, wait. Web save fonts. All right. Yeah, so like Arial is sans serif. That's fixed width. Sans. So what are we currently on? Wasn't it like times or something? Actually, didn't I have to overwrite that? Yeah, we did Times New Roman. Because they were doing like Arial, I think. It's definitely serif. Of course, these are drawn at different sizes, so it's a little bit harder to tell. And then kind of special. I'm getting a little more system. Maybe a little bit closer to that. Helvetica? Well, that's Helvetica's sans serif. I mean, I guess it could still end up looking good. That might not. It looks like it might not be standard across all browser environments, which would actually put us back to Arial as one of the options. Well, maybe now that I've fixed font sizes, the Arial would look better. A little bit. Did I bump caps lock? No. And that does look a little bit better than the Arial. Well, this was a specific movie. Movie posters. Cleanest font for credit roll. Sans serif. Okay. A little fancier than Arial Helvetica. Same speed. Oh. Okay, so we're suggesting sans serif. I think Helvetica. Ariel's MS ripoff of Helvetica. Thin weight's not held up on a screen. I mean, this is for actual screens, but this is still what people would be using. So we got a whole bunch of recommendations, actually. But then these are starting to get into things that are less likely to be available on all systems, I would think. They're an environment where they can just go get and use a font in one thing, and then it's not a big deal. So Arial, Helvetica. For readily available stuff? And technically I have been bolding them, so that might be a better thing to look at. Lucida might give a little bit more space to it. So is this still a rundown style typeface? That's... Wait, that was sans serif, right? Or they just have a few of them? Like on the T. Does that... Well, I mean, it doesn't show up. Oh, duh. We can just look at it. Computed. Font family serif. Yeah, so that totally did not work as a standard HTML rundown. Okay, so that works if that font is available. Mm. Maybe. Hmm. Hmm. I might want to go back just because since I can't do a rundown, that's more likely to be broadly available. Yeah, so that's a little bit heavier. Hmm. Hmm. I might. Yeah, I'd have to do some searching, but I think I did find it was like the Design for Hackers thing had a list of all the fonts you're likely to want for most projects. All right, so what's the other thing I wanted to look up? Oh. Is there a Muxy API? I already looked at your developer site. It's all about your extension stuff. Extension backend architecture, yeah. Subscription tiers API. PI alternative. So this is their feedback, which doesn't it put all their energy into extensions just like Twitch did? So we could get some stuff. Well, I know Streamlabs is the big one. API docs. So I wouldn't be able to get tips unless I also switched to Streamlabs for that. That's overall. Testing approved unlimited. There's no description there. Is that one request per minute? Is that reset this count per minute? That might be in the getting started stuff. Labs API authorize. Alerts, points. Now you see, I thought I had seen credits somewhere, but when I searched around, I didn't find it. And there's like... This is very bad documentation. What does this do? Well, so I guess they have a credit roll. Well, when I searched around for stream credit roll, I didn't find anything. And then I look at the API docs and stumble across it. This is, however, tied to a different alerts platform than the one I'm using. It'd be nice if they actually list this as a feature somewhere. How about Streamlabs credit roll? Credits widget. Okay, well, that's not terribly enlightening. Okay, so that's showing a Star Wars style. They have multiple themes. They don't even have hosts as an option, though. And if they did, so the thing is, even if I know Muxy will only shows hosts for like if there's like more than one kind of thing, or if it's not auto or some default conditions, which I mean for the alerts is fine. But at some point I noticed that people were hosting me, and I thought I should do a little thing at the end, and then that started getting long enough that it's reading it out is getting a bit long. Okay. Widgets. We should be logged in now. Oh, no, here's widgets. All right, the crawl default. Oh, let's see that they applied some letter spacing to it. Background. Oh, Open Sans. Okay. Font size, text color, followers, subscribers, donations, tiers, moderators. So this doesn't even do the thing that I'm currently trying to make it do. And it's like, this stuff would be great, but it doesn't do the first feature and currently only feature that I implemented. So, yeah. Log out for now. So we've got credits roll, points, alerts. We've got a donation list. I mean, I guess if alerts has history, are these the query parameters? Query parameters. They have no documentation of the return formats, which makes it hard to see type. Oh wait, this is post. We would want a get socket. User points, alert profiles. Get user, donations for. Yeah, this is actually not a terribly useful API either. I see no. This is primarily a write API. So, slobs, for instance, can interact with this. There doesn't seem to be any tools to get the kind of information you'd get from the text file dumps. So this actually isn't going to be any better than Muxy. It doesn't give me what I want in straight-up web access. Actually, does the Twitch API list followers by follow date? You could kind of infer it. No, not blog. And since they're keeping around the old API, we could also look at that. Now, they try to be a little bit too responsive here, and I don't know how to get to this documentation effectively from the mobile view. Analytics, bits, entitlements, games, streams. General information to know. Oh, wait. Follow relationships between two Twitch users. Most recent follow first. So if I brought back pagination support, not that I need it very much, we could request follows. Look at the recent follows. And get that, which is probably the main thing I'd be getting. I'd still probably have to go to Muxy for. Well, actually, that was one thing. There may have been a get for donations on Streamlabs too, with an actual API, but then I would have to be using their tip widget, which just doesn't matter too much. Videos. Webhooks aren't quite right. So we can get followers there. API v5. Clips, video upload bits, channel feed. Oh, That's old stuff. Channels. Get channel followers. Sorted by the date. Newest first. Subscribers, not an issue. Communities is still there. Yeah, so let's see. Either of these could get follows. But to get donations, I would either have to be reading text files or I guess we can look back at I probably could have found their actual thing. API docs. Get donations. Oh. They responsived the results out. Or it just, I happen to be... Yeah, it's just gone. So that makes it a little bit easier to see what the heck you can possibly get. Donation ID. Okay, so if I switch to Streamlabs for that, I could actually get a donation list. I guess that's a rare enough thing that shouting it out manually is probably fine. Unless I'm getting daily tips, which we're clearly not. That's just not a concern, really. It's like every other month. Okay, so for Twitch, we can get recent follows and build the list up from that. And that can be done in the new API, even though they're no longer depreciating the old API. That seems like a better place to build. And you do the same thing, but I think you actually put it in below if it doesn't fit. Well, we also lose our position. Following, get user follows. 2ID. Pagination. I don't know if I've ever gotten 20 follows in a day. Followed. I guess I could do like today's follows. I guess you could still get morning to evening or something weird like that. Well, I mean, I could do something more like 12 hours or something that made sense there. But 12 hours cover maybe a little bit more than 12, but would cover the day. Otherwise, I'd have to know the stream start time. Which actually, if you get videos... or actually, there's a live stream. I mean, videos, I think will show the current video time. Get streams. Oh, there is a started at. It will occasionally get thrown off by disconnects and things. But it'll mostly work. So we get our started at. We get follows since then. A few more web requests, but it should be a small enough burst we don't have to worry about API limits. Okay. So we should already have our Twitch module, which I can even... this mobile format's kind of annoying. Even see how good my own documentation is. So we're mainly looking at Helix decode. We've got follows, we've got streams, we've got started at. Oh, I did not decode additional fields from a follow, though. Which is weird, because I'd swear I went back and, like, added all the fields to all the things at some point. But I guess not. It must have been just, like, videos and stuff. That is... yeah, that changed our scroll position. Get user follows. So we have followed at... I'd actually swear I had more stuff than that. Like... usernames, maybe? I haven't really done much with follows, I guess. Elm. Decode. Nope, that's it. Oh. There is a followed at, which was not interesting to me at the time. But they have expanded this since I last worked on it. So it's not entirely my fault for not mapping that. But this is the field I need now. Okay. So we're going to have to step back to here. Could potentially do some checking in the tests, which, well, tests I think are still using my local test frameworks. That's another project to work on sometime. But, and actually I do want the names here so I don't have to go look them up. Alright, So can we set up... actually, that's going to be using... I'm just going to have this off for the moment. It's going to be using a reactor. Elm Twitch API, Elm Reactor. You're probably going to be... Oh, we got a couple of things in here. Oh. Do you have a monitor? No, you just have reactor. Code 1 of... I'd swore I put a better view on this. Oh wait, JSON.project, type package. Expecting object. What the heck? Type package. Elm version 19. Expecting null. One of it, JSON failed. Problem with value at JSON 0. Twitch. I need a valid module name like JSON decode. What's not valid about that? Expecting an object. Did it really like publish and everything with an invalid JSON? Elm. JSON structures. No, all right. So I know I think that there was in the introductory blog post there was a link to the changes. It had a link to the Elm JSON format. Elm JSON for packages. Exposed modules. All right, can I... is there open with? Not what I want, but it'll do. Okay, that... I thought I had a JSON previewer in here. Does that mean there's a problem? JSON... JSON is valid. Can I... Okay. You're interpreting this. Exposed modules seems to be fine. Unhandled promise rejection. Streamlabs worker? What the? It. That was some interesting leftover junk. A valid module name. Oh, I think I know what your problem is. So I actually have to run the test in the test directory. There we go. What were you? Oh, and then this is specifically for like some deep down the detail parsing. So right now I've only got sample user, but that can be a way to test out some new stuff. Parser. Yes, this is some very specific stuff. I guess this is more to test if things compile. We could potentially check that here. So he serializes sample follow. Wait, where is users? And just that it doesn't have an error, pretty much. Okay, it was fall. No, it should be. Oh, because I didn't import it. We probably. Oh, yep. That changed depending where it is. Really? It doesn't even decode? Oh. Missed parenthesis. Oh, no, I do need to log this. Oh, right, we need the, only doing one thing right now, we don't care. Oh, parenthesis in the wrong spot. Does debug not log not work the way I think it does? Been a little bit since I used it. Log. String A. Okay, we go back to the old-fashioned way. What? What the? No. Okay, we touched something else. What? What did we touch? Oh, this did need a parenthesis. Actually, maybe you didn't. Okay. Okay, it's not a valid JSON. Which we're about to replace it anyway, and I still want to know what the heck's going on here. Sample follow. Unexpected character at line 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Column 4? That has to be... Oh! Yeah, what the heck, guys? What the heck? Okay, that's data. No, data, comma, pagination. Formatting's a little weird. Did I? Oh, because this was originally a longer example. Okay, so our test stuff works. This is still a ... so we have to fix that up. Okay, so that continues to work, but now we have to add a bunch of stuff. And it's still confused. Get me more height. All right, so we have from ID, from name, to name, and followed at. I have like a time stamp, yeah. And that is all we can get out of that. There is a total, which funnily enough is actually something you could... that somebody might want. But this is just a list follow. My pagination wrapper worked for that. But that means it's not just a list. I mean, it's a trivial decoder if you need that extra field. Oh. Really? Oh, okay. Oh, well, no, this is the different... Oh, right. Map 2. Because we had been doing a map 2 here. Oh, no, I defined this. Map 5 would still work. Do I have any instances of timestamp? Oh, it's not timestamp. It is POSIX? Yeah. And then our decoder. I don't have a good way to find. I mean, we can jump to decoder. So that's a big one. That's a small one. That's a big one. That's a small one. I'll probably just make it a 5. From name to name, followed at, this is timestamp. And then test. Do that. Now, for the really awkward part, in that we have to just switch this thing over to be using library. And I guess this is going to come out as a major change. I can just about. Yep. So Elm-JSON, this will end up being there. All right, and then we switch back to your Elm-JSON. So this, unfortunately, you can't really have comments in here. So down Elm Twitch API source, and see if they're able to figure that out, or if we have to do some cache clearing stuff. So we want to get you Elm reactor, and this. Actually, we never moved you. Yep. No, I did move you. It's a bad import. Oh, right, I need all my descendant. No. Oh, but now it's a direct dependency. So that means it will actually catch these cases, which is good. ISO. I'd swear I actually used to be using this file. Maybe it rewrites the indirect dependencies. Parser. That was Elm parser. Okay, it says it can compile. So we're back to where we were. Okay, so now, let's see, we wanted to... Well, the first thing you do is just fetch follows, and we'll worry about doing timestamp stuff. So, in our main application... let's see... Adding follows to stream credits. Okay. We need a model that can store this. We need to Twitch. We're already using Helix for users, and then yeah, we do. I think we do say, yeah, helix.user, and if we end up with our internal type, we end up with our internal type. So model, we have hosts, we have oh, you know what I ended up doing? That's tmi.host. End up putting it in here. And for this one, all we really care about is the time and the... wait. Well, thankfully, this is a small change. But I was using the field labels for that. Decode... Oh. Is that inconsistent? Yeah, that's inconsistent. So this may break some other application. And those are just ordered parameters, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, that is inconsistent with how we've done other things, and it's a major change anyway, so... yeah, all the others are in Elm style. So we want follow from name and followed at. Those are the only fields we care about. Oh, but you need time now for POSIX. I might be able to end up... Actually, I don't care about that yet, do I? I might be able to filter that in the front end somewhere. Because we otherwise have not had to deal with times at all. Okay. Well, we do need a message for this. No, helix.follow. And then follows. List follow. We had a my host, right? Oh, actually, this is right along with the fetch hosts. TMI.follow. Wait. No, there was TMI.host. To follow. My follow. From name equals follow dot from name. That's all we're doing so far. Fetch follows. This has an actual API endpoint. Fetch hosts. So this is going to be more like fetch users by name, login. To ID equals ID. We're probably going to go with default count. I don't know if I've ever had 20 users. After getting to pagination. Fetch follows. Get fetch follows URL, empty body, expect JSON, follows, helix, dot follows. Actually, that won't compile because we haven't edited our message yet. User hosts. Probably looks something like that. Twitch follows. Follows fetch error. Oh, probably probably didn't hit up a knit yet. Map needs the second argument to be Twitch. I get this. No, it's helix dot host follows. Probably forgot to change the message name. And we haven't actually sent a message yet. Which is actually back to an it. So we do need to know a user ID. So fetch hosts, fetch user. Fetch follows. And these are starting to get kind of long. I guess we could probably indent this whole thing then. And all we can do is watch for network errors right now. Oh, fetch follows error bad status. Oh, that might be, yeah, I was doing TMI before, which didn't need... Okay, we do have a Twitch ID here. Oh, I was just using an HTTP call because I copied that. So actually I kind of copied the wrong thing. Fetch users by name. Fetch follows. Twitch client ID, auth, we shouldn't need auth. Helix.follows, tagger follows, fetch follows URL ID. That hadn't recompiled yet. Okay, so we think we got it. We actually have to display it. Of course, we've got some displaying to do. Could we... So that's the scrolling section. And it is a multi-piece... I'm going to want to do some spacing here. But this is something we could probably abstract. Display section. We have to do a bunch of dimensions here. Element message is going to be height and items. Oh. As title. Which would allow us to pull out something like this. Actually, this is a list. So to be an element, we would have to wrap an element around it. And then you actually end up having this spacing. Text. Title. So this is going to be a list of items. Display item. Not string. Okay, so that's making that thing progressively smaller in terms of what it's actually doing for us. And then your spacing is actually going to be a brand new thing. Oh, actually, this is going to change our size calculation too. We'll do that for now. So this is where we want to take model.hosts, list.map. I just deleted the field I wanted. Host display name. And then send, yeah, it is the last item, to display section, model.window height, and then we don't have... Yeah, we're in the process of removing that. Uh, 138. Random syntax error. Int string, list string, element message. Those brackets match. Those brackets match. We've got L, brackets match, text title, items. Wait, columns, it's initial things, and then list.map display host. Well, okay, so it's somewhere in here. Let's try removing that. Okay. So it's somewhere in this. Can we do... Oh, we still got model in here. So this is just going to be height, height, height. Second argument to L is not what I expect. Oh, it's not. L is not a list. This actually has to be a column in order to have spacing. Could that really have messed it up that much, though? Apparently it can. Okay, this can also mess it up a lot. Oh, we have to throw this... No, we throw it into column. Display item. Okay, something changed here. So column. We made this. Do you have to be center X as the surrounding column? Yes. Center X. So do I need this one? No. Oh no, wait, you're... Yeah, okay. So the outer centering is taking care of that, but probably, arguably, we need to do that. Oh, because this used to be column width fill. So the equivalent thing here is actually width fill. All right, so now we can take this and do model dot follows to from name. What? Oh, right. Syntax changes. Of course, we actually have no follows today. No, because we're not doing any filtering. Okay. So that's going to be 20 recent things. And now we have to... how's the interspacing? Yeah. So credit heading, section spacing, and then this thing has to consider, well, I guess we'll have to filter follows in the front end once we get there. For now, model.follows, we need heading spacing. This is actually going to get much worse when we consider what if it's empty. Heading font size, heading spacing. I guess I could actually do leading gap plus this, trailing gap, plus trailing gap. Ooh. That's actually almost too big. Ooh. Oh, I didn't include section spacing. So... That's still a surprisingly big gap. I guess that's the whole point of the scaled thing. Alright, now, there is a complication here. And then I think, yeah, this is all switching off empty hosts. We now have two things to consider. Well, anyway, we did a whole bunch of API stuff. We're switched back to local for the time being. Although we've kind of proven that library out. The other piece we need is the stream start time, which I think is included. Started at. So that should actually be fine. So how did this go? Elm, Twitch, API. Oh, we need to do like changelog. Add missing fields to follow type and renormalize existing and renormalize its existing field names. Oh, we actually have to commit all that. And that new line is unfortunately going to flip back and forth as... Well, we might be able to fix that. Yeah, because then the tool is touching it again. Okay, and that was our test for that thing. Add missing fields and renormalize field names for follow. Now, I believe that the Elm publish will fail if we're not tagged. Or actually, it'll fail if we're not pushed. So I can do a draft local tag without pushing that and worrying about anything. Well, I'm going to eventually have to push that code too, but... and... Is it -m? Update. Let's do follow type. Get tag. Alright, it's going to tell me that none of this is published, but version is not tagged on GitHub. Okay, so everything else is valid. So we should be okay to push this up. Okay, that says that's published. So let's see if we can get this cleaned up before we do that. So now here's the awkward bit. Well, we can see if it actually rewrites the direct indirect. So take U back. Stream credits. Elm install. It does not rewrite those for us. So we had to remove ISO date strings, parser, and time? Key not given. Oh, this is where I have to, this is the direction where we have to get rid of Elm stuff. No, this is the other Elm stuff. Yeah, all this is a problem. Okay. So it was happy with that. Although it did say it only compiled 2 modules. Well, there's actually not that many modules. There's only 2 significant ones. Okay, so that still worked. Okay, so this is now back in a reasonably... Get diff. Version changed. I edited the file, so the new line changed. Request. Many recent follows. So getting the stream time is not a big deal. Filtering it might not even be a very big deal. Making each section independently conditional and adjusting the size for that is going to be kind of a pain in the butt. So I think I might leave that for tomorrow. So this is almost usable now. I might... Well, I guess I could go back one step before the follow stuff and push that version of it. Oh. Oh. They're independently centering. That's an interesting little problem. I don't know if there's a solution for that one. You'd almost have to put them in the same segment. And then, like, do something to make the title stick out. Anyway. That's it for now. Thanks for all the hosts. Let me see if I can have anything to recommend. So, another little app. This is about when I tend to stream. I guess I have been running a little bit later sometimes, but I'm just concerned that we'll kind of keep going and going and going if we get into the time filtering stuff. Oh, hey. There's somebody else doing Twitch stuff. Toaster Phil is making a Twitch extension. And that's somebody I've enjoyed watching in the past. He seems to... I mean, generally I only put people down if they're doing some degree of talking about what they're doing. So if you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye and until next time.